Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into a really interesting collection of happenings from Montreal in March 2025. We're calling it the Infodrone March 2025.
Right.
Think of it as a snapshot, really, what's been going on. New developments, green projects, transport changes, community stuff. It's all in there.
Exactly. And what's quite striking looking through this is just the sheer range of activity. You get a real sense of momentum.
Yeah, like the city's actively, shaping itself right now.
Rethinking spaces, investing in big infrastructure, supporting local things. It feels like a city on the move.
Okay, so let's unpack some of this. Maybe start with something green. The Infodrone mentions a huge federal investment, $49 million for planting trees. That sounds substantial.
It is, yeah, a really big commitment. The target is 300,000 trees across Montreal.
Wow.
And it's not just about looking nice, obviously. The idea is boosting the urban canopy cover.
Which helps with cooling, right?
Exactly. Reduces that urban heat island effect. Plus, trees soak up CO2, helps with emissions. And, they generally make the city more resilient to climate change impacts.
So multiple benefits there.
Definitely. It's a long-term play. Of course, planting 300,000 trees,
Hey.
that's a huge logistical task. And keeping them healthy afterwards, that's key too.
Makes sense. It's not just sticking them in the ground. Sticking with environmental resilience, Saint Laurent is getting federal money too, but for flooding.
Yes, that's right. Over $7.3 million, specifically to tackle flooding issues.
How are they planning to use that?
Well, the funding is going towards building water retention structures. Think engineered ponds or spaces, basically, in Boisfront Park and the Midtown Project area.
To hold rainwater back.
Precisely. Captures the excess, stops it overwhelming the drains, and what's neat is how it links up with their ongoing biodiversity corridor work.
So creating green links.
Yeah, interconnected green spaces for wildlife, but also helps manage water naturally. It's a joined-up approach, really.
It's good to see that kind of thinking. The Infodrone also flags some cooperation near the Technopark about preserving natural areas.
That's right. You've got Dorval, Montreal, and Saint Laurent working together. They're advocating to protect those federally owned lands, south and west of the Technopark.
And the goal is?
The bigger picture seems to be expanding the Sources Nature Park. Getting municipalities to cooperate like this is pretty crucial for protecting larger green spaces, for wildlife and for people too.
Definitely. Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Mercier Hochelaga Maisonneuve, MHM, has launched a cleanliness plan for 2025.
Yes, a local initiative focused on keeping the borough clean, but sustainably.
What does that usually involve? More street cleaning.
It could be.
Yeah.
Often these plans mix things up, maybe more frequent cleaning, better waste collection, recycling programs, maybe even campaigns to get residents involved in keeping things tidy. It's about making the area nicer for everyone living there.
Right. Now, shifting to something much bigger, the Jean-R Marcotte wastewater plant modernization. That sounds massive.
It truly is. It's out at the eastern tip of the island, and it's one of the world's largest treatment plants. Handles a huge chunk of Quebec's wastewater.
So modernizing it is a major project.
Absolutely. It could mean upgrading the treatment tech itself, for cleaner water output, or increasing capacity for the future, maybe making it more energy efficient. It's vital infrastructure work, even if most people don't see it day to day.
Okay, right. So from wastewater to, getting around the city. Interesting news about dogs on buses. Leashed dogs allowed starting next year.
Yeah, this follows the Metro Pilot project. It really suggests a move towards making the city, more inclusive for people with pets.
It seems like a practical step.
It does. The Metro trial must have gone reasonably well. Of course, you always have to balance that with other passengers' comfort, allergies, things like that. So we'll see how they manage the rollout.
Fair point. And for greener travel, the East Montreal Tramway is officially launched, and something happening on Henri Bourassa too.
Yes, two significant moves. The East Tramway launch is a big step for public transit in that part of the city. It's about connection and offering a sustainable option.
And Henri Bourassa.
That's the launch of the Bus Rapid Transit, the BRT, and the Express Bicycle Network, the RE project there. So dedicated bus lanes to speed up buses, plus protected bike lanes.
Improving flow and safety, then?
Exactly. Better mobility, safer cycling. It's all part of that push for more diverse, sustainable transport options across Montreal.
Okay. Now, this next one seems quite transformative. The plan for Chameleon Hood and Remembrance Roads on Mount Royal.
This was really interesting because the focus is shifting heavily towards pedestrians and cyclists.
So less access for cars.
Essentially, yes. The goal is greener, safer spaces, primarily for walking and cycling. Emergency vehicles will still get through, but the vision is definitely about reclaiming that space for people for recreation.
That's bound to spark some debate, I imagine.
Oh, almost certainly. These kinds of projects always involve balancing different needs. But it shows a real interest in promoting active transport in parks and reducing car dependency.
And thinking about the city's overall mobility future, the Urban and Mobility Plan, the PUM 2050, is being updated based on an OCPM report.
That's right. The OCPM, the Office of Public Consultation of Montreal, they're independent, they consult the public, they produce this hefty 223-page report with 28 recommendations.
So, public input feeding into the long-term plan.
Exactly. It's about shaping that 2050 vision for mobility, aiming for accessibility, sustainability, innovation. That public consultation piece is really vital for making sure these big plans actually reflect what Montrealers want and need.
Okay, let's switch lanes to real estate and development. A new life sciences hub downtown sounds promising.
It does. This hub on Saint-Urbain Street is really designed to attract biotech startups, boost R&D.
Good for the innovation sector.
Definitely. And interestingly, the site itself apparently has ties to respiratory disease research historically. So potentially some interesting connections there as it grows. Hubs like this can really drive economic activity.
And on the housing front, the federal government is investing in rentals.
Yes, quite significantly.
Oh.
Over $278 million through the Apartment Construction Loan Program that's earmarked to build 764 new rental units in Montreal.
Which is much needed, I'd say.
Absolutely. Increasing rental supply is pretty key when affordability is such a big issue for so many people.
Now, this is interesting, the Archdiocese of Montreal launching its own real estate corporation.
Yeah, the CICRM. What's notable here is the focus. It's not just about managing property. It's about strategic management with a focus on social impact.
Meaning?
Well, looking at how their properties, their ecclesiastical assets, could be used to benefit the community more broadly. Maybe affordable housing, maybe spaces for community services. It's a different way of looking at church properties.
Huh. Okay. And for people tracking the general market, the Real Estate Brokers Association, APCIQ, put out some info.
They did. The Infodrone mentions their publication covers current trends, challenges, opportunities in the Quebec residential market.
Any specifics mentioned?
Not in this summary, but typically those reports dive into sales volumes, price changes, interest rate impacts, that sort of thing. Useful context for anyone buying or selling, maybe highlighting demand shifts or challenges like rising rates.
Got it. And a practical tip for renters. Think about lease renewals.
Yes, just a timely reminder. Lease renewals in Quebec have specific rules and dates. And worth noting, those 700-plus new rental units we just mentioned are coming online, potentially adding more options soon.
Right. Let's move on to community and culture now. Some good news for the Ahunsik Community Center. They faced eviction, but there's funding.
Yes, really positive outcome there. A $15 million federal investment to relocate the 13 charities that were based there.
That's significant relief for them.
Huge. It means those community services, often supporting vulnerable people, can continue their work without disruption, just in a new spot.
And highlighting Montreal's diversity, the Greek community's Independence Day celebrations are mentioned.
March 25th, with ceremonies and a parade in Park Extension. It's just a great example of the city's multicultural fabric. These events are so important for community, for heritage, for sharing traditions.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of heritage, another partnership involving the Archdiocese, this time in Pointe Claire.
Yes, they're working with the Pointe Claire Heritage Preservation Society to restore the historic mill there.
Oh, the windmill.
That's the one. The plan is to turn it into a cultural and educational center, offering tours, programs. It's a great way to bring a landmark back to life and share its history, preserving local heritage for everyone.
That sounds fantastic. And finally, in this section, something really quite special, the Doc Talk Talk bus.
Yes, this is really neat. It's a new mobile pediatric clinic founded by Dr. Rislaine Benkelfat.
A mobile clinic.
For kids age 0 to 5. It's focused on providing free psychosocial care and services to vulnerable children. So emotional, social, psychological well-being support.
And being mobile means it can go where it's needed.
Exactly. Reaching communities where accessing those services might be difficult. It's a really important initiative for early childhood development.
That's wonderful. Okay, just one last quick point on infrastructure. Hydro-Quebec's Barrie 2 Station project.
Right. This is about strengthening the electricity grid in the Latin Quarter. Basically, upgrading the transport and distribution capacity. Standard, necessary work to ensure reliable power, always done with safety paramount.
Got it. So, wrapping up this deep dive into the March 2025 Infodrone. Wow, there's a lot going on.
There really is.
Greening initiatives, major transport shifts, real estate developments, community projects, infrastructure upgrades. It really paints a picture of a city in flux, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And you see the connections, right? Greener transport helps environmental goals.
Mm-hmm.
Community support boosts well-being. It's all interwoven.
Mm-hmm. It highlights how complex running and developing a city actually is, all these different pieces moving together.
Or sometimes pulling in slightly different directions, which is also part of urban life.
True. So, considering everything we've touched on, the trees, the tramway, the housing, the dock bus, all of it, here's a final thought for you, the listener. What single change out of all these developments do you think might have the biggest long-term ripple effect on Montreal and the people living here?
It's a great question to ponder. Which initiative really sets the stage for the future? Lots to think about there.